What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Don't Forget About Me, the Supernova version, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, another video for land, just because there's some fantastic resources on this website that Azarcon introduced to us a couple of weeks ago from Beaker 007. It is splinter-lands.streamlit.app. Go check it out. And right on this main page here, the resource metrics, if you go to the total resource overview, there's so much good data in here. Well, I think the data is good, but there's so much valuable data in here. Hopefully it's reliable, but I appreciate Azarcon and Beaker for working to get this to us. Now, obviously we have several different types of resources now, including Aura if you want to count that, and even including research and SPS if you want to just count that in terms of like what land produces. But what's great here is you can see the daily consumption and production overview. So for example, like with grain, you can see the total amount, so the 7.4 billion grain available, right? That's just sitting around the ecosystem. We produce about 116 million daily, and we consume about 131 million daily. So there is a deficit there. And that alone consumes a certain amount of grain. But you can see the same thing for wood, right? How much is produced daily, how much is consumed daily. Right now we're net producing wood, and this consumes a considerable amount of grain. Stone, we're net producing stone just barely, right? I mean, it's not that much, maybe 500,000 stone, maybe less than 500,000 stone. Yeah, we're like 400,000 stone daily because we're consuming a ton of it as well. And then about 300,000 iron is produced net daily. You can also see here, I mean, how much research is being produced. You can see with Aura as well. It doesn't look like they have the consumed here. And then how much SPS is coming out of the pool too. Now, what's really cool, they have more like, total supply. You can see Aura starting to catch up. But what I love here, and this is where the focus is going to be for the rest of the video, is the net daily production of these resources. So as we were talking about earlier, you could see how much is produced and consumed. Well, this is giving you a graph over the last, 2 weeks or whatever it is, going back to April 22nd, that shows you how much is getting either produced or consumed. And again, this is the net. So what's fascinating to me is that you can see everything else is being produced, right? Everything else is above zero. So you got wood, stone, and iron that are all above zero, even at slight or small amounts. But grain is in a deficit. Now, we've known this for a while, but it was hard to really tell how much was actually getting consumed daily. And a lot of stuff was actually starting to come back online or shift back into grain off of research or SPS early on, right? So I remember I made that little... little video where I'm like, oh, we're going to run out of grain in 30 days, right? Because if you had gone back and seen how much was getting consumed in those first couple of days, it was ginormous. And then, of course, everything else kind of rebalanced after that as people were like, oh, okay, let's hold up on this and let's produce a little bit more grain until we see where it's going. So now we can see this on a trend. And as we've gotten more into the midnight potions, right, Aura being produced, maybe people want research for whatever reason, you're seeing now that we crossed 10 million net consumed per day not too long ago. This was back in April 29th. So yeah, I guess this is when that must have been when Midnight Potions came out. Yep. And since then, we've now crossed 15 million. So will it stay this way always? I'm not sure. But at this point in time, it's not like Midnight Potions are going away anytime soon. And sure, maybe you can think that like, okay, some people who don't need research anymore, if there's no like requirement for research, right? If this is the only requirement now, maybe there'll be a requirement in the future for different types of potions or different types of things, but that might be like 3-6 months down the road. Who knows, right? So maybe people will turn back to grain. But at this point, the fact that we're consuming about 15 million per day is significant, right? So if I were to redo this, and let me just kind of get it here. So this is, keep in mind, this is 7.432 billion, right? 7.432 divided by 15. If we were to just keep going at this deficit forever, it'd be 495 days, which is roughly 1.25 years, right? So about 15 months of grain we have stored up. So we're not going to be running out of grain anytime soon, at least not at this rate. I think things have rebalanced to a certain extent. Now, as we move forward, maybe more things will pull resources. I shouldn't say resources, but pull like production away from grain. For example, in the future, if we do get revival potions, if we do get spells and items or other things that the team might be able to do with land quickly, and I'm talking about within the next, like, we'll call it 6 to 9 months, right? By the end of this year, we'll say, which I guess is really just 6 months. So within the next 6 months, we'll see what the team can do with land. If there's more things that they can do that either, require research or require things that research can buy, right? And then all of a sudden you have to switch your work site. So it's not just an aura lab, or it's not just a grain producing farm. It could be one of these other things. Now you have to choose what to do with your land, right? And I do think that because there's such a high surplus of grain, people would probably choose to turn off their grain before any of the other resources, right? Maybe they'll turn off research, but again, if the team can keep research as something that everybody wants to get or needs to get, especially long term, that'll be important. So I just want to share this with you. Again, this is a fascinating resource for us here. There's so much that I've been diving into. So, don't be surprised if there's other videos, if I come across even cooler metrics and data that they're sharing. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Don't worry about grain. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. But I will catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.